Missed my hat tonight. I left it out in the car.
You definitely look a lot better with a hat on.
And we're
But
live.
I know we are. Welcome to Still Talking Uncut. I'm your host, Big Easy, from the YouTube channel Moonshine. I'm joined by Sean Rigsby, Moonshiner's Master Distiller winner.
How we doing? How we doing?
Now, it's good time, good time. So, what's going on, man?
Well, I'm just sitting here enjoying some Huckleberry Moonshine, made, distilled and mixed by. Hold on here, let me. The Beattyville Hillbillies, Donnie Benton and Teresa. They were on, I believe, season 8 of Moonshiners, and they made this at the distillery called Neely Family Distillery in Sparta, Kentucky. What are you up to?
Well, while we was down in Beattyville last weekend, you still look like you got a hangover from Beattyville.
So I feel like it.
Did it follow you all week?
It's working on it.
You got to fight fire with fire, man. It's
Hair of the
pull
dog.
sun tomorrow and attack that hair of the dog. But when we was in Beattyville, we walked over and I got a jar of
Pop Casey's.
I know you got a bottle too, and they signed the bottle. And
Yes,
everything.
sir.
Got some good art on it.
I really like that bottle. I like it. Well, aside of the ugly dude that's on there, George, it's a really good picture, man. I like how they done the label and everything. And
so I got it, 9 grain, man. I got to try the old 9 grain. So I'm gonna pop her open, and this is what I'm gonna sip on tonight.
anyway,
So you talked about Neely before. You talked about their distillery.
they make good stuff, man.
It's got a distinct smell to it, man. Like,
a 9 grain, man. It's a little much. I mean, it's a good liquor, but there's a lot going on.
there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Like, it's sweet, it's peppery, it's warm, it's mild, it's smooth.
I would like to know the percentages of everything that goes in there. Because if you read down to the bottom, it says he even adds molasses and cane sugar. I'll drink it out of the bottle, man. Pull a Rigsby over here.
Went in the glass, man. I could sip on. You was doing too hard of pulls last time, man. It got you in trouble.
Yeah, I had to pull the cheesecake out of the freezer because there wasn't much left. Had to replace it with the Huckleberry. By the way, happy birthday, Bennett.
Oh, Bennett Shiner, happy birthday, bro.
Yep. He's got to be about as old as dirt. I can't really put a number on it.
Who's older, him or Rick?
It's probably like a fucking.
It's a battle, huh?
Yeah.
Man, went down to Beattyville last weekend with you, and dude, it was a good time, man. Love it down there. The weather was real nice this time.
Yeah. It definitely made up for last year, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was beautiful, especially after the heat and everything we went through the week before for it to be down in the 70s. Just hanging out at that festival, meeting all those people, and shooting shit with them, and then realistically, my main thing is just listen to people talk when I go to these things. Listen to people who I feel are better than me at it, or people that I look up to and respect, just to hear them talk. Like on Friday night, as soon as I got there, followed you up the mountain, up to Donnie's, where he was having that big old dude. That was cool. All those people up there. It was a wild drive to get up there because we ain't used to driving up mountains in the dark.
Yeah,
and we're on our way up there. And I got me little cooler, got some shine and some beer in it. And by the time we get up there, I'm like, nah, dude, I ain't drinking nothing. I'm going to try back down this thing.
Yeah, maybe pass it around, let other people drive it.
Yeah, so
drink
that's what
it.
I did. I pulled out a jar of peach. Like, here you go, Sean. Pass this around, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an interesting drive up there. And then I remember the first time I went up there, he said, "Well, you go up and you kind of make a left and you go around, and if you come to a pink mailbox, you went too far."
You know, we went too far. I had to back up. It's all dark, and you know, when it's dark, man, you don't know if it's 5 feet over the edge or 5,000 feet.
Yeah, really. And it's a big drop right there too. I mean, because you remember going. Well, no, you weren't up there in the daytime.
Put your phone on silent, uncut.
Yeah.
That's special effects in the background in this episode. Ding ding, ding ding.
They're ding ding or.
I'm sure it's the old lady telling you something you need to do.
No, actually not.
Not this time. Give it 5 minutes.
Well, there's not a pool here, so I should have told her what I was doing. That was the deal there. I didn't communicate that.
It happens.
But yeah, it was, man, I really like going down to the Beattyville Bourbon and Moonshine Festival, and that was the second annual. I really like that because it's about moonshine, you know, and you can't have bourbon without moonshine. So,
yeah, you know, I liked. For me, it was more geared towards adults. You know, I seen it as more of an adult festival. Mm-hmm. When we went to New Stratsville 3 weeks ago, that was more of a family style. Bring the family. We've got all this stuff for them to do.
Yep.
And I knew the Beattyville one was going to be more adult style. So, you know, we left the kids back at home and we went down. And I know that made it a little more enjoyable for us.
So I was really shocked last year when I went down there and they had a bunch of distilleries set up. Like, they called it Moonshine Row. It wasn't because of moonshiners. It was because you can go out and drink moonshine, you know, and taste things. And of course, you know, moonshiners were there too and all that. But it was a really good turnout this year. Last year kind of sucked. I mean, it was fun, but
I would like to attend a festival to where they're like, hey, man, you bring it. You can let people try it. You could sell it. It's all free game. It's not just these big distilleries that get to garnish all these people.
Yep.
You know, like bring what you got. Like, we don't know. We don't see it. You know, we're turning a blind eye to it. You're at a moonshine festival. Let's celebrate real moonshine, which is, you know.
Yeah, and I'm willing to bet that a lot of them do there. It's just.
It would be cool if it was open, like going in, you knew, like, man, I'm going to take me about 5 gallons up here, and I'm going to let all these people like for me, it would be like, hey, man, I'm going to advertise on my YouTube channel and TikTok that I'm going to be here, and you come out here and try some of Big Easy's peach brandy.
Yeah,
and you know, come on, I'll get you a free shot, and just it'd be cool to know that, you know, as not a legal distiller, you could show up somewhere and let people show up and just mass try your items, or even let you sell your jars. Like, hey, man, selling jars.
Right.
Like, I think that'd be pretty cool. So,
hell yeah, absolutely, man. I love going to places like that and setting up because, you know, one, especially there, you know, that's kind of not the same. My interest was drawn to moonshine in Kentucky
because I mean that's where your roots started.
Yeah,
so where your family's from. So
you know, I'm not from there, but I think a lot of what brought it full circle is Kentucky because, you know, a few people down there I met and has taught me a lot about it. I wouldn't necessarily run a strip where, you know, rerun it, but hey, you know, but just, I don't know, man, there's just a lot of different stuff down there.
Well, you know, you trace yourself back to there, and then, you know, you go down there, and, you know, sometimes you feel like you're at home, you know.
Yeah.
Even when it's not where you're from, you just walk in, you feel at home. I'm gonna tell you, I enjoyed the Beattyville one a little more because, like I said, there was moonshiners there. Like we were down in New Stratsville, like I bet there was a lot of moonshiners there, but nobody knew about them. You know, they didn't want to be known about.
Yeah.
But we're down in Beattyville. You see all these guys from Master Distiller there. You know, and
yep. The Moonshiners and even Kevin Gordon was there, the one that built the stills for Master Distiller, and he still builds stills for the Moonshiner show, Mark and Digger, when they're on there.
And that was the that was Kevin that I had met, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Little short dude.
Yeah. I can't really gauge shortness, man. You know, a lot of people are short when I stand next to them, so I really don't.
Well, Kevin, if you're watching this, I've got a few jar lids I'll sell you.
I already got them off of him. He doesn't have them. So, you know, what I noticed a lot with like all these shiners down there, people from the show and just people that knows everybody, man, it's almost like a brotherhood almost, you know. It's like some people would call it a clique or something like that. I think of it more like a family.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up playing sports. I was always real big football, basketball, which, you know, if you meet me, you'll understand, like, oh, yeah, that dude played football. I could see it, you know, and then even after playing for most of my life, all up through high school, and then I went into coaching afterwards for about 10 years, and that was really cool when I was talking to Scott. I believe Scott was who you competed against.
It is.
Yeah. Come to find out, you know, he coaches high school football, and it's like, man, you know, I got something in common with this guy. I used to, and it was different to like know him on a different level than just being like, man, I seen you on TV. You make good shine, and so, you know, and it was real cool to see that because, you know, I always experienced that my whole life because, you know, when you're around a group of guys and they all have your same interests and all of you have each other's back and you're working together, then you know that group tends to be more like family than just you know, it's more like a brotherhood, and I thought that was really cool to see and experience that firsthand, and then also just to stand there like a fly on the wall and just hear everybody speak and talk about things.
That's what's funny too, man. When I hear a lot of the old, I won't say older guys, but like Red Dog and JB or whoever talking, you know, if I'm in the area, I just kind of shut up. Not because I'm just eavesdropping, but when they talk, I listen.
Yeah, like
you know?
If I'm not the one talking and I'm listening, then that's a cue for everybody else to listen because I'm usually the one that don't shut up. So.
And you know, it doesn't matter who it is. Like, you know, even Scott, you know, he does things a lot different than, you know, say we would. But and same thing with Daryl. You know, that we're all after the same goal, but just because we do it a little bit differently doesn't mean it's wrong.
Yeah, we're all going to take a different path to get there, you know. And in the end, it's all going to make magic in the end. You know, and we were standing by that pool, you know, and we're all shooting shit, you know. Like I don't want to say I was intimidated because, you know, I'm not the type of person to get intimidated, but, you know, there's a feeling of, you know, do I belong in this circle here? I'm standing here with these guys, and compared to what.
Well, I can tell you, if you don't belong there, I don't belong there.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
I mean, it's you know,
and you know, it's just one of those. It's kind of like I feel like a freshman football player coming on, trying to make a varsity team, you know, and you have the skills and you're good enough, and you just have to have the opportunity to prove yourself. And I don't think a lot of people get that opportunity to prove themselves because, you know, a lot of people couldn't get an audience like that to try their liquor,
right?
You know, and for me to stand there with that group of guys and just get fucking trashed. I mean, we got obliterated. We stood there for about 4 hours just shooting the shit and drinking and you know, and and what made me feel great about the whole thing was it was my jar of peach brandy that got passed around all night long.
That's right. That's how
and
peach brandy should taste.
and the more we drank on it, the sweeter it got. And just to see, you know, this group of guys that, you know, I respect and I'm all ears to learn from, you know, just to see everybody just sit here and shoot the shit and get drunk off of my liquor, and not so much somebody pull out a jar there. And a couple other jars came out too, but they went on the table,
on the back burner.
And the peach brandy got passed around, and I just, you know, it made me feel a different type of way to be able to, you know, interject myself into that group of people, because like I said, the average person and most people wouldn't have that opportunity.
Yeah.
And what was cool, one of the best things I loved about it was they'll tell it like it is. Like, you know, if
Daryl.
if your liquor sucks, man,
somebody's gonna tell you.
Yeah, somebody's gonna tell you, you know, and so, you know, that was really cool to me, and I really enjoyed that part. So, you know, I do really enjoy you inviting me down to come hang out with you and, you know, have a good time. And
dude, I enjoy the hell out of it, man.
It's always a good time, you know, like you know, and I understand when you're with them, you know, like that's like a brotherhood, you know, a group, but like like with us, it's more like a real deal friendship. Hang out and shoot the shit all the time and bust each other balls. So, you know, it's always fun when you got a good friend you're doing something with. So.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, man. Well, and that's the thing too, man. Even when we were filming, like, you know, it goes back to the same thing that you said about, you know, having an audience trying your liquor. You know, and before I went down there to film, I'm like, oh, people told me it's good. You know, I've tried mine. I've tried other people's shit. It's, you know, I mean, but then when Digger's like, that's good liquor, I'm like, okay, that's all I need to know.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, when you're a young man, you're a teenager like me. I was the fat, ugly kid, but my mom tells me I'm handsome. So my mom's always going to tell me I'm handsome, just like, you know, your friends and people that don't really know, they're always going to say, man, you got good liquor. But when you get out in the real world and, you know, you start meeting some real people, and, you know, for me, it was, you know, real women, like, oh, damn, you're ugly. Like, oh, yeah, I know. It's cool, though.
And they kept going back to Moonshine. Tim, he was like, that's a good moonshine. And Diggers, that's a good moonshine. You know, even though when I was standing there, I'm like, shit, that's not what they want. Deep down, I'm like, that's what I want to hear. Because that's what, you know, I don't do vodka. I never fucked with vodka before.
Well, I mean,
I just wanted to win a show at that point.
They don't make vodka.
No.
Like, what's their palate? Their palate's for moonshine, and you got you know, you got to play to your audience a lot. And, you know, that was a subject quite frequently we heard about, playing to the audience, and you know, and it's just, that's the way it goes.
Yep, absolutely, and it just worked out, you know. But now the best part of it, man, is, you know, the people that I've met.
Yeah.
Since, you know, when we were filming, I met Daryl, you know, Scott, Thomas, Travis, you know, all these people. They come from different backgrounds. You know, some of them had this distillery experience, and some of them had 5-gallon pop experience. You know, and
man, what do you got over, a wolf?
No, a 50-pound pit bull that drinks schnapps.
He does. That dog does drink schnapps. I mean, all right, well, tell us the schnapps story.
So,
now, what do you use peach schnapps for?
Infusion
of that peach brandy, man.
And I had some on the counter one time, or it was a table or something. I can't remember. And I come back in. I walked out, come back in, or whatever. And the bottle was laying on the floor. And she had chewed the lid off of it and licked the whole bottle. Like, Storm. Sorry, guys. This is uncut as it gets.
It was my dogs last week, so don't worry, Monica comes in here eventually.
Keeps running back and forth to the garage.
Yeah.
So
your dog popped open a fifth of peach schnapps, drank it all, and was super dry.
Yeah, well, I can't say she drank it all, but she drank a whole lot of it, and there wasn't a whole lot left on the floor.
She tried, huh?
She tried, and she went and laid down. Storm, come here.
Hell yeah, she went and laid down.
It may have only been 30 proof, but it was a good 30 proof.
She did the same thing you did during the last podcast. Drank too much and went to bed afterwards.
I don't want to get up. But, yeah, so Beattyville, man, it was.
If you need to get up, man, I'll hold it down. I can handle this. All right, now he's gone. We can talk about him. He does need to put a hat on, man. That's bad video. If you're not gonna wear the hat, you at least got to keep it trim like me, you know. But while he's gone, when I was in Beattyville, you hear a lot of people talk about how they cut, how they do their cuts, and even when you watch all these guys on TV and TikTok and YouTube, and like everybody cuts different. And that's, me and Sean are on the same page when it comes to cuts. You'll see quite a few people, they do small cuts. And, pint jars, fill up half a pint jar, and take your cuts real small. So, are you back?
Folks? Yeah, I just let the dog out. So hopefully there's nobody up front that shouldn't be there.
Well, if they shouldn't be there, they won't be. Well, while you're gone, I started talking about cuts, man. Because when we was in Beattyville, I heard a lot of different people talk about, how they cut.
Yep.
Where they run down to. And even at the distilleries I go to, it's amazing what you hear some of these people say, that how they run it and what they do with their tails and things like that.
Yep.
I was talking about different ways that people cut. Some people, they like to take pint jars and fill up 400 pint jars halfway and get it reeled down to a meticulousness, where they're, and to me, I'm not dogging that at all. I think that's a great way to learn how to do your cuts, to really understand the difference.
Oh, yeah. Especially with the smaller still. The smaller still it is, the easier, I guess, it would be with, something like that.
I mean, but, for you or me, like, we do our cut. Our cuts are the same. It doesn't matter if I'm running a 5-gallon still or a 500-gallon still. I'm going to take out my heads, 4 shots, based on what I taste. And then after that, I'm putting a bucket down there and I'm running that sumbitch down to 90, when I get down to 100, I'm going to pull my bucket out and I'm going to start catching in jars.
Yeah.
Then that way I know exactly when the tails come in, and there's no way that I get it in my big bucket.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of people don't realize too. If you run lower in the tails, say with we'll say you're on a 15-gallon and a 500-gallon. So if you're running with a 15-gallon, you run down to 70 proof with that, right? There's not but like this much liquor between 90 and 70 proof in a 15-gallon, but you run a 500-gallon, which I never have. One of these days, I might get a chance, but
that's my goal too, man.
Like,
I've hit triple digits, and I got to go up to even bigger triples. It's, you know how it is.
Jump 100 at a time,
and I'm gonna keep it real, man. 2 drums piped together doesn't equal 100-gallon still.
No, why would it?
No. It's
250 gallons.
It's 250 gallons. We might have an argument on our hands, but in my mind, you're running two pumped together. It's still 250s. We've done it. We're gonna do it, and
Yeah.
it's still gonna be 250s.
So, earlier, you know how Mike Fannin, he uses that burn tube.
Oh yeah, dude, I like that burn too, man.
So I was talking, me and Eric Maines, I was messaging him earlier, and he was talking about the burn tubes, how they're so much more efficient for anything over a one barrel still.
Yeah.
As far as heat up time and run time and all that.
And you could legit mash in that tank,
Yeah,
and cook it right off because you don't have to worry about anything that's settled in the bottom.
yeah, that shit can just sit there. It don't matter.
That's what he did with that 100, right?
Yeah,
He put that tube in the middle. I remember the pictures you sent me. Like, that's the one we ran, and then to see it with the tube in the middle, it's like, dude, that's cool as hell.
And that's what Mike was saying. He said the 80 gallon he's got, he'll heat that thing up in hour and 15, hour and 30.
So
25. Go ahead.
We was getting about 80 to 100 gallons in that thing before he put that tube in. How much do you think he lost in that by putting that tube in the middle?
Well, I don't know, man, because you think about it, though. Now I'll say now he's filling it up to the top, but he's going to be able to because he's putting that keg on top. It's not just going to be a flat. I mean, it's going to be a flat surface, but he's going to have.
So after the modifications, then it's probably about the same.
Probably, if I had to guess,
because he's able to use more of it because now there's a bigger cap and he's not forcing it through a 2-inch hole, a 2-inch barrel.
Well, I think he's still going to use 2-inch off of it, but it's going to come up to a beer keg.
Yeah, have a nice cap on it. Oh, smoochy, huh? Go ahead, say, I love you, baby.
This stuff's going down awful easy too. This Huckleberry Moonshine.
Oh, what proof is that?
Technical, it's 50.2 proof. And it's made from grain and cane sugar. And I do believe Donnie's a rye whiskey kind of guy, so if I had to bet, I would say it's rye.
So, when you cut or when you run, do you use a parrot?
Do I use a parrot?
Yeah, I see a lot of people using parrots, and I hear a lot of people say that the downfall of using a parrot is it smears your cuts.
So, so remember that 6 jar I had?
Yeah.
So I started using a parrot when I had that, and I quit using a parrot when I had that. I don't want to say quit. I guess I went a little bit bigger to need it. Or I went a little bit bigger, but anyway, that's when buckets come into play. But yeah, I do agree that they do smear. But
see, I told you it'd be my turn.
Once you figure it out, you have it figured out, because when I was running the 6 jar, I'd fire it up and it would run and it'd come out, say 175 or whatever. I would run that down to, say, 120. And that's where I'd cut off with that one. Because when you hit 120 with that still, it sucked all the good liquor out of it. But it just keeps running through the jar. So it's just running, at that point, it's just running tails right through the jar. And it's redistilling. You know what I mean? But when I put a parrot under there, it would say, 140 in the parrot or 120 or whatever. And it'd be coming out shitty.
Yeah. That's because and so that's where the smearing comes into place because it takes so much liquor in that parrot to drop your proof. So
I believe the parrot held anywhere between a quart. The one I had held between a quart and a half gallon.
That's a big old parrot.
You know what I mean? It was 1 inch.
For me, I see it as the parrot is a good way to show your proof during your run,
Mm-hmm.
and then before you get down, because like I said, I stopped collecting hearts at 90. You know, when I hit 90 proof, a
Yep.
great man showed me that. I learned that from a great distiller, a master distiller, and you know, ever since I went that way, I really like it. You know, it serves me well, and so what I'll do is I'll use the parrot for the middle of the run when I'm lazy. I don't want to be there checking. I don't want to keep checking. And then as soon as that parrot hits 100, well, I know I'm getting close to that 90, so I go ahead and I pull the parrot and I start collecting in jars, and then I take those jars that are from that 100 down to my 90-ish range or whatever I feel, and then I let those jars sit out overnight. And usually by the next day, the ones where it had the tails in it, they'll cloud up. And then you know, like in the tails bucket, this is good liquor.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'll do with that 100 to 90 jar is I'll keep it for something else, but I won't dump it into my main. That way I know for 100% that there's no tails or backings in my liquor, you know.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't realize, but you know, are real tight with cuts and stuff. But these big distilleries that make bourbon, they put a little bit of, you know, their cuts are a little more open. They actually use part of their heads and part of their tails to go in the barrels with the heart, because the heads will bring certain tannins out of the wood and flavors and shit like that.
And,
but a lot of people don't say that.
Well, you know, nobody wants to hear some things. You know, they tell you what you want to hear. It's just like our buddy Hooch, Appalachian Hooch on TikTok. When he first started, about the first year, he was all about, you know, I'm going to run to 120. I'm going to run to 120 and I'm done. I'm going to run. That's my hearts. That's my hearts. Everything else is tails.
I wish he'd collect the 120 down to 90 in a bucket.
And then after hanging out with us and, you know, and running with me a couple times and just seeing how we do and tasting our end product, he's like, man, from that 120 down to 195 range, he's like, that's where all your good flavor comes in. And it took us a while to break him, but he came over to the dark side. Finally.
So I've got a question though. So if you run 120 gallon still, okay, and you get off enough liquor to fill 3 5-gallon barrels, is that all hearts?
I would think there's still hearts to be caught.
You see where I'm going with that?
I can't wait to try those 3 barrels.
Oh, me neither. Was it rum? Was it rum?
Man, you know it was rum. So in case y'all are wondering what we're talking about, our buddy Moonshine Shoe on TikTok.
And Hooch.
And our buddy Appalachian Hooch. And I think they Moonshine Way, I believe.
Yep, I think he took one too.
So they all got together and they ran a 260-gallon pot piped into one, you know,
150-gallon thumper.
Yeah, and a 50-gallon thumper. It was super cool to watch, man.
Yeah, it was.
And they took them and they ran this liquor and they filled up 3 5-gallon used oak barrels, and they sent one back to West Virginia and one to Alabama and one stayed in Texas, and they're going to let them age and then compare them later on and see the difference. And so all I know is that I gave y'all a shout out that I better get a little shooter of each one of those so I could try it myself.
Oh, I'm sure we'll try it. How long did they say they're going to age that?
I mean,
5-gallon barrels, I wouldn't say long.
No, 6 months or a year. I'm not really sure. I'm not real big into aging. You know me, man. I'm not an aging type of person. Like,
me neither.
The only big scale thing I'm going to age is the old legacy liquor I talked about. You know, and that'll be the only thing I really age because, you know, I like it clear.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it's really cool. I really like when guys we know, like TikTok community, that Shine Talk community, all get together, they collaborate on things, and you know, it's really cool. Like last year when we went to Maggie Valley, and everybody, quite a few people brought a jar of liquor, and we all dumped them in a bottle in a big jug, you know, and we put it all together, an infinity jug, and then everybody took a jar home. Like that jar's distinct and it's irreplaceable,
Yeah.
And then like when Hooch came up and he brought that wheat and we did an apple wheat out of a beer keg together, and you see it a lot with these guys. They're getting together, running the liquor. I know old Judd.
Oh, Henderson.
Yeah. Oh, Moonshine or Sasquatch. He's got a couple really nice rigs.
Yes, he does.
And he doesn't live far from us. He's a couple hours down to Hocking Hills. So,
yep.
I think we're going to go out there one weekend and camp and take about 20 gallons of mash, and I think it's real cool when,
And same thing with Sean McKinney. He's not that far neither, and he's one of them people that I don't know, for some reason people don't really think he knows what he's doing, but he's been doing this for a long time.
Like I get it a lot, man. Where you're a lot smarter than you look. Like you look at me and you're like, man, that's a big dumb looking motherfucker right there. But it's just like you get to talking and
well, I guess depending on who we're talking to, next week when we have Alan on, I'm going to be stupid.
I'm definitely I'm a fly on the wall that time. Like I'm not even going to talk a whole lot. I'm gonna be over here with a notepad, taking down notes and just learning. Like, oh yeah, like. So I might just drink the whole time and take notes. You run the show. In case y'all are wondering, we're going to have Alan Bishop from, was that French Lick Distillery?
Spirits of French Lick in Indiana.
Okay.
Yep. He
Spirits of French Lick.
He just had a bourbon. I think was it last year that won Bourbon of the Year or some shit like that. And he makes all different kinds of stuff. But
about how far away from us is he?
Alan's what 4 hours? 3.5, 4 hours.
So I know it takes 2 hours to get to Indianapolis from here. So
yeah, I don't think I went clear to. Well, I don't think I went to Indianapolis when I went over there. Can't remember. But he's got a beautiful farm. That was an experience I'm sure he will be glad to talk about.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that. That's the first thing I'm gonna ask y'all about is your Rick Gibson jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
Not all unions are created equal.
Yeah, that was a good time, man.
In case you don't know what we're talking about, you go on the last episode and you can hear all about how not all half-inch unions are created equal.
Or 3/4 or whatever. Yeah.
Or what doesn't matter. Not all unions are created equal.
It all depends where you buy them.
So I think the thing is everybody's like, look, man, get your unions at Menards. Everybody get them at Menards. Like,
yep.
I have an adapter piece that's about this long.
Just in case.
And one side has a Menards union on it and the other side has a Lowe's union on it. And it only fits one way.
Yeah.
It only fits. Well, you can't flip it around. You can't use it somewhere else. It only fits one way.
Hell yeah. So speaking of unions and stuff, I was looking. I don't know what made me think of it, but Phil posted that video of that jelly or whatever he put in the thumper.
Yeah.
Dude, those jars are cool as shit.
Are you talking about for the Vever?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Vever one that I adapted your 2-inch Fairlight deal for to go on the Vevers. Hey
man, if it works, and
it works, man, and it definitely takes that football column to the next level. So my next thing for it is an upgraded condenser for it. So that's the next step on it, and then I'll move on from the Vever. It was just, that Vever columns. There's a lot out there, man, and not a lot of people have come up with add-ons to it.
And that's just it. It keeps people from having to buy other pots. It keeps them from having to, cut shit apart. If you clamp is the way to go. That was my thing when I never wanted to paste anything. When I first got started, I had to clamp something or I wasn't going to do it. That was my thing because I was ignorant and I'm like,
and how it is when you first start and you get a little rig. And you learn on that, how it runs. Know what to expect, what to do, and it's hard to make that jump from what I know to something new because it's going to be more expensive and it's going to be, like It's a little more work running a beer keg, keeping them clean and
It is.
as opposed to a pan, you can just reach in and scrub the bottom out.
Yeah.
And,
Or you go from a beer keg to an all copper pot. That's paste.
That's exactly what I did. I ran that beer keg forever. And now, saying that, I intentionally went to a paste style because that's what I wanted. A lot of people said, you need a clamp. I was like, I don't want a clamp. I'll get a clamp later on if I want, and it'll be a big bastard. But I wanted a little 20-gallon. I wanted an old school. I want to paste it. I want it to leak, so I have to repaste it. I want to bump into it, knock the cap loose, and be pissed at myself. Like, you big stupid son of a bitch, get out of the way.
But if I had a big one right now, I'd want to paste.
But yeah, I would definitely paste a big one. I have noticed that the paste style compared to the clamp style, man, it's almost half the price.
Yeah.
And I guess you pay for that convenience, and if you want to pay for it, so be it. But I like the paste style. I think they look cooler. They're more traditional.
That's just it. 20 years down the road, or well, not 20, but hopefully not 20. Hopefully, 50, 60 years down the road when I pass away, they can go out somewhere and they find that, a still, and I'm like, man, that's history right there.
Hey, and also, you don't have to worry about like, goddamn, I don't have a gasket. I don't have a gasket. Where'd my 4-inch gasket go? I can't run this still. Like, where's my where's my clamp? Where's my clamp? You don't have to worry. You don't have to order clamps or find gaskets, or you just slap it on there and grab you some flour and water and make some biscuits.
If you ain't got no flour, you can take some grain grind it up real quick and mix it with water.
You could paste with mud if you had to.
Yeah,
like clay. You can dig up some clay off the ground and paste, and that's the best part about it. Like, if you had a little 5-gallon still in your backpack and you're walking through the woods and you find some rotten fruit on the ground, like, you can make liquor.
Absolutely. And that's one thing too. Speaking about the woods, I eventually would like to get out there sometime and do some kind of YouTube video or something for somebody.
But I got an idea for us to do a woods run, and I'll run that by you. So,
hell yeah,
that's coming soon with that. We'll use that modular style still, and so I got a good idea for that.
Well, hell, I'm thinking we should do a 2-barrel. If we're gonna do it, we might as well bring a little bit of liquor out of it.
You might as well.
50-gallon barrels, shit.
I mean, I think we're all ready for that. We're just waiting on somebody to hook up, make the worm attachment all good to go.
It's happening.
It's happening. Hasn't happened. Get about 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh shit.
So what, man? We're looking at 4 weeks. We'll be down in Maggie Valley.
Mm-hmm.
And there's gonna this Maggie Valley is gonna be way bigger than the other ones. But it's gonna be hard to top Beattyville.
It is. It really is.
It's going to be hard to top standing in that circle with all those guys from, you had your winners, you had your second place guys, but it doesn't matter. If you won, you come in third, second, you're part of that group of brotherhood. I see it like a football team, like I said earlier.
See, Scott's one of them people, just because he come in second, he's one of them people that, I don't know how to put it. He runs liquor. He's been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
He's not one of them people that's been doing it for 4 months.
Yeah, he's not a still hand. Some people think I'm Sean Stillhand for some reason. I am not Sean Stillhand. Let's keep it. I'm my own distiller, man. I make my own shit. I do it all myself. Me and Sean will run together and make some
occasionally.
But yeah, it was really cool, man. Watching you pass my jar of peach brandy around and getting real feedback from guys who I think know better than me, or I think know better than me, or just people you respect, like you said when you went on the show and they tried your liquor and it's like, man, this is good moonshine. You're like, dude, I got a legend over there telling me that I just handed him a jar of great moonshine. It makes you feel a certain type of way, just like being around being around people that really know moonshine and they like what you make, it definitely makes you feel a little differently about what you do, and it's a little I want to say gratification,
Oh
even though
yeah,
I'm not searching for gratification. Honestly, I don't give a shit what anybody else thinks.
but
But personally,
it makes you feel good.
it's nice to know that all the hard work and the dedication and everything you've put in over the past years
Yep.
has it's to the point where you know if those guys like your liquor, well, you could put that on a shelf.
Oh yeah.
You know, if that group of 6, 7 guys there like your liquor, and then to me, like it's shelf worthy. Like you could pop that on a shelf,
You
and
know what?
real drinkers would buy it. People that
And
really know would buy it.
and that's what gets me, man. There's so much shit on the shelf. And I say shit, I don't mean like trash. I mean like just different liquor. But
There's a lot of trash on the shelf.
there
Let's
is.
put that out there. Like
There is.
there's a lot of shit on the shelf where you're like,
But
how is this shit on the shelf? But ain't nobody putting Big Easy's fucking banana brandy on the shelf,
well, that's what I was getting ready to say. But there's not a
Sean's
good
Bloody Butcher on the shelf.
clear
You know?
peach brandy
Yeah.
on the shelf nowhere. Blows my heart. You know, I get it. It's expensive, but it's not any different than an expensive
Well, you
bourbon.
know, and also a lot of it is when you hear brandy and you see brandy, you automatically looking for that amber color.
Yeah.
You want that brown woodsy color, like, and that's what everybody looks for. So if you see a clear, you're gonna be like, man, there ain't no way that tastes like peach. And especially if it doesn't say artificial flavor added.
That's the kicker right there.
Like that would be my thing, man. If I was to put a brandy out, it would just be infusion, and yeah, it might not sell as well as the one that you pump all that flavor into.
But it's true. It's true to you.
Yeah, it's going to be clean, and it's going to be no after, like, you know,
No
a lot of
flavors
times
added.
they put that artificialness in them. You could taste it.
Yeah, it's sweet.
And and then like it leaves a coating in your mouth that is just it's unpleasant.
Just like glycerin kind of thing. You know, we all tried a little bit of that last weekend while I'm trying to figure out that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's almost like it makes it hot too.
So what Sean did was he took some of my peach brandy and he put a little peach schnapps into it.
Yep.
And just to see if it would make it better. And you know, I think while it did give it that little sweeter finish that it didn't have just from infusion, it made it hotter, and and I think it changed it a little bit.
It didn't make it a lot.
It didn't make it better. And like it did make it better in my book. Now,
you say it did?
I didn't think it did.
Oh no,
no. And now for your average drinker, you know, say the wife, she would taste it like that with that schnapps in there, and she would love it.
Especially if it was proofed down a little bit more, you know, to make the burn not so hot, I guess. But
you know, you never know, man. Maybe one day you'll see Sean's face. Well, I know one day we'll see Sean's face on a jar. Who's to know when that's going to happen? But that's coming. But maybe one day we'll see Sean's face on a different jar, you know, or maybe one day you'll be able to buy my brandy coast to coast, or you know, if not, then come find me in the woods and I'll get you a jar.
We need to buy some land in Kentucky. That's what we need to do.
Yeah. No, I don't sell liquor. I just make something to drink. And
well, that's what I'm saying. We need to buy some land in Kentucky, set up a pole barn, and put a distillery on the son of a bitch.
Make YouTube videos where I make people think I know what I'm doing. So,
well, I've seen a lot of people. Never mind.
It's all editing, man. It's all edited. Smoke and mirrors, and magic. That's all it is. TV. Just remember, it's always TV. Even on YouTube, a lot of times it's just TV. It's all for entertainment.
Exactly. There's a lot of people that don't know what they're doing, but manage. I've noticed that somehow.
So I won't say who said it, but one of the greatest quotes I heard over the weekend was, "Man, ever since I was on a TV show, I've tasted more shitty liquor than I ever thought I would in my life. Like since I've been on that show, everybody wants you to try their liquor.
Yep.
And you know, and I understand that, you know, you got all these beginners and stuff that they want, you know, they want somebody whose opinion they can respect to try their liquor. So I guess it's a double-edged sword. It's kind of like for me standing in that group watching my jar of peach brandy get passed around. That's an audience I would never get. So I see it on both sides of the fence, you know, from the new distiller wanting that man who's been on that TV show that he watched to try his liquor and give him honest feedback to the man. I'm tired of trying shitty liquor. So,
I'd take that jar and I'd hand it in any day of the week.
Well,
and not give a fuck. Especially the more you drink it.
Dude, the more we drank that peach brandy, the sweeter it got. Like, I'm gonna put it like this, man. I don't really drink beer, and when I do, I drink usually ultras because they're light and non-carby. But man, we was sitting there drinking, and these dudes are walking back, and they got Budweisers in their hand, and I never drink Budweisers. I think it's not my deal. And man, they hand it to me. I just pop that son of a bitch open and drink it down the hatch, man. And then 5 minutes later, walking back with Bud Lights, and it's like, hey, man, if it's alcohol right now, it's going down. So
that's what saved me that night, was not drinking any beer.
Not drinking any beer. Yeah, that beer had me feeling a little something Sunday morning. Now, I tell you, it was all good, man. You know, it was nice and chilly. We got super drunk, and I stumbled up in the hotel room, and I tried to lay down next to the old lady, and I was so cold. She's like, "You're an ice cube." And so I went and laid on the bed, man, and this whole bed just shifted out from underneath me, and it started sliding across the room. And I'm like, babe, this bed's trying to kill me. I was good and lit, but I wasn't asleep on the porch with the dogs lit, so I was right there. So I cut it off pretty good. So
yeah. I probably should have been.
Now,
oh man!
I always know when old Sean's drunk. He starts to
sway a little bit.
Sean looks like he's on a boat when he gets too drunk. He just starts swaying. I'm like, man, you all right? I'm good. He didn't get quite Maggie Valley drunk this time.
No, but you know what's funny though, man? With when you're drinking on a jar of liquor, or two or three. You don't really know how fast it's going down until jars start emptying.
Especially when it's like it starts tasting like candy.
Yeah.
I did try Scott's liquor. He wouldn't tell us what was in it, but he brought a jar out, and he said it had some grain in it, and I was like, dude, I taste some wheat and rye, and he eats cheese ear to ear. He wouldn't tell us what was in it.
Yeah.
But dude, that was a really good.
Was that his spider bite?
You're asking me questions. I don't remember shit, too, man. I just remember he handed me a jar of liquor, and I tried it, and I enjoyed it. And then after that,
there's definitely some kind of a malt in it, I feel like.
Yeah. And after that, it was more beer and more brandy, and so, man, I had a fantastic time, man. It was definitely a once in a lifetime experience, and I'm truly grateful that you invited me to come hang out with you over the weekend.
Well, and next year's around the corner, so
I didn't tag along and follow you down.
Hell no.
We went to have us a good time, just like we go to Maggie Valley, man. We're gonna be in Maggie Valley. We're gonna have a good time, but
so we're gonna have to find another place to hang out. I don't know about that distillery, if they're gonna be closed or if it's gonna be open.
Well, I look at it like this, man.
If there's a fire or a swimming pool.
Yeah, dude. We're all in. Pretty much everybody's in the two hotels, the Comfort Inn and the Lowe's, which are right there by the fairgrounds and right next to each other. So it ain't going to be cold, so we don't need a fire. So I say everybody bring your fold-out chairs, and we'll make a circle and start passing jars and have us a good old time. So
yep, just like we did at the filming when we were at the Best Western. We all had that. And I didn't take any liquor down because never mind. I didn't have any at the time. But, everybody's got jars out, passing jars around. And I tasted Scott's vodka the first time. I'm like, damn. I didn't know what to think, man. When I went down there to do vodka, I I don't drink vodka. I don't. The only bottle of vodka I've got in this house now is Thomas's Delta Dirt.
But
Legal shit.
you make liquor, bro. You make anything. Like I ain't never made it. I'll try it.
And what's funny is I was talking to Alan Bishop, and he said, grain makes people make most of their vodka nowadays out of grain because potatoes are hard to work with.
Yeah.
And he said red wheat makes a good vodka. And I said, red wheat? I ain't going to use that. I'll use wheat, but not red. And I went with white wheat, and that was 70% of it. But yeah, I was real nervous, man. I tasted his vodka. I'm like, shit.
Oh, I bet, man.
This tastes like vodka.
This tastes like vodka. It don't taste like anything. This is good shit.
And
I could see everybody using a lot of grain nowadays because without a jacket, it's still, man, you ain't separating the potatoes. And it don't matter how you cut them up after they turn to nothing. And I'm sure they got easy, awesome ways to do it, but for backwoods dudes like me that use strainers and Harbor Freight pond pumps, man, potatoes are out.
Well, and when you're in them big distilleries, I'd say that they probably source the vodka, or you know what I mean, and just rerun it, and it's their own shit.
Well, I would think a lot of places they get cheap vodka and just filter it because that's the only difference between fucking Kamchatka or whatever the hell it is and Grey Goose is they just run it through the filter more often. And just like that video I did with a Brita filter, turn welfare vodka into Grey Goose.
Yeah.
Run it through a filter, man. It's gonna taste better. So
and that's the only thing too I've never done. A lot of people might give me shit about it or whatever, but I don't filter anything. It's through a cheesecloth to keep the bugs out, and that's it.
If you got to filter it to make it taste better, then you usually need to do something to make it taste better coming out of the worm.
But if you filter brandy, it filters the peach out of it.
Yes. I couldn't see filtering brandy. I couldn't see doing a stripping run with brandy. Like,
use a thumper and you're done.
Yeah, to me, it's sacrilegious to do a stripping run with brandy. Like, what am I stripping out? My good flavor?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's my brandy, bro.
I mean, I've taste stripped brandy before, and it's stripped.
I have too.
It's clean.
It's stripped. That was there was a guy who he would just strip his peach brandy single arm style and just it's good brandy, just not my thing. So also a guy who would talk about running his tails down to where if it's clear, it's still good liquor. Like. I've heard before. I'm catching 30. It's clear. That's still good liquor. Like,
I'm gonna proof my liquor down with that.
Yeah, it's not good liquor, man. Like, separate your tails and rerun them later on.
But that's the thing. I mean, that's how he was taught. I guess to say, for lack of better words, blessed that I was taught a certain way that. Was like, hey, you gotta have, I don't know, an open mind.
Yeah.
Take a little bit out of here, a little bit out of there. Just keep it all in your mind, but use little bits of each from each person and make your own.
For me, I'm blessed. I don't give a shit how you do it. I want to know how you do it, so I can do it my way, and I'm going to do it my way because my way is going to be lazier and easier, but it's still going to make a great product. So thanks for pointing me in the right direction. And, and I'm always a big fan of my videos. I'm like, hey man, I'm going to show you how I do it,
but do it how you want.
Do it how you do it. What works for you. And that's what's best. But I don't know. We've been on here an hour, man. Gets away from you quick.
It does.
We took some time off. We took some time off.
Yeah,
man, I think that's the most viewers we've had so far. So
it's climbing, and it's probably my friend Dusty.
Fuck you, Dusty. Come at me, bro. I've been trying to get you to come at me. You won't.
Nah, he ain't.
So we'll be back in a few days. We'll be back Sunday night, 8:00. We're gonna have Alan Bishop from French Lick
Distillery.
I'm getting it. I won't remember anything, so all I'm going to remember is to ask about the unions. So
that and so he was also asked to be on Moonshiners early on.
Okay.
And he didn't do it. So that's definitely a part of that conversation too.
It's not. I'm
Getting
sure he's
wound
got
up.
it. Yep, it's got his reasons, and
yeah.
He's watching this and he's not going to get wound up.
So, all right, man. Y'all have a good night. We appreciate y'all turning in. We just hit the 1 hour mark. This is our longest one yet. So,
absolutely. Y'all have a good night.
Tune in for the shit show next on Sunday. It's gonna be a good time.
That's right.
Shine on.
Later.